I have 7 of the biggest side hustle and gig economy changes that are happening right now in 2025. And why should you know this? Think about this. If you're looking to start, grow, or just scale your gig economy based or even just general side hustle, you need to know these changes because all of these affect pay, order types, options on these work platforms. Now, if you just want the shortest info possible, this is actually a part of my free newsletter at yourdrivermike.com/newsletter. But consider this a substitute for that, kind of a supplement rather, to get you some more information and context on it. Now, look, this first change, if you drive for mobility platforms like Uber or Lyft, Uber announced cash tips on their mobility sector because obviously there's rideshare and there's Uber Eats. Now, this says, quote, never dispute transactions with riders as far as accepting cash for the entire trip. Now, of course, you can accept cash tips, but this is cash trips. The entire payment, Uber announced, would be settled with cash from your mobility rider at the end of the ride. Now, if this is the first time you and I are meeting, my name is Mike. All I do is help you make money in different side hustles. I'm here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I started my side hustle because I was sitting around here not doing anything, not making money, and I wanted to have some extra spending money, what have you. So if you're looking to start or grow a side hustle this year and beyond, consider subscribing. Now, I did Uber as my first ever side hustle, and I've seen since I started in 2015, this app, amongst like all of them basically, kind of tweak and play with different features, accepting cash being one of them. So I'll ask you, would you feel comfortable as an Uber or Lyft, let's say, driver, accepting cash for the entire transaction? This is the customer's payments on the platform, and they ideally would include your tip in that. So you're accepting everything in cash. And if you're like, well, I do delivery, this still applies to you because we've seen cash trips on DoorDash, let's say. Now, interestingly, when I first reported on this, you can see here, as I do, again, this is a part of our free newsletter. Definitely sign up for that. You can read everything in 5 minutes. That their support article has since been removed. Why do you think that is? So that link right there directly to their support article talking about and detailing cash trips. Gone. I don't know if it was reformatted, included to another support page, or was this a beta program that they just got such bad feedback like, all right, just stop doing that cash trip thing, drivers don't like it? You let me know. But if you want to see a complete breakdown of most all of the features, by the way, that I'm going to talk about today, again, this is kind of the abridged version, make sure to subscribe, watch our live replays so you can get breaking news like this on a full scale breakdown if you would like to see that. So that's cash trips on Uber. But our next update here from Uber Eats, obviously their subsidiary for food delivery, strengthening their efforts to verify courier identities. Now, do you feel like you have any struggles, let's say, combating bad actors in your city? Let me know. Do you feel like there's ever anyone working on the platform that is not authorized to work on the platform? Now, I would ask you, honestly, because I try to give you a neutral stance here, how do you know? You're like, I think this person's unauthorized to work on the platform. How do you know? It's up to the platform to verify the worker. So look here. This was just announced a couple of weeks ago at the time of filming this. Uber strengthening their commitment to verify who the courier is that they say they are and using the correct profiles. So there's several steps that Uber announced here. You can see multi-step screening process. All couriers who use Uber must meet numerous eligibility requirements, including passing a criminal and driving history background check. By the way, if you didn't know, they rerun those background checks. I'm trying to remember the frequency. Maybe every year. It's only kind of randomly selected drivers, to my understanding. You can share your questions and maybe confirm any of this down below in the comments. We can continue that conversation down below. But Uber Eats saying, okay, well, document verification. We leverage our own technology and rely on external partners to verify the authenticity of documents. For example, Courier social security numbers, okay, validated against the IRS database, right? Makes sense. Now, these ones, though, pay attention to this. Let me know if this would make you feel better as a courier, because DoorDash has the same thing. DoorDash did like the same announcement. They recommitted to verifying courier identity. I think it was November of 2024. So this is January 2025 for Uber here. Profile photo validation. We require all couriers to add a profile photo and use both technology and human review to help us establish that the photo is real, accurate, and most importantly, matches the identity of the documents, driver's license or whatever identifying, government approved ID they're going to submit here. Now, if you're a courier who is fully authorized to work, how would someone get around this? Like falsifying documents, what have you, but let's continue here, because obviously I don't want you to have to contend with workers, couriers, anybody that's not authorized for whatever reason, any reason to be on the platform. Now look here. Beginning this month, right now, as I film this, January 2025, we will expand the use of third-party technology to enhance our ability to detect profile photo fraud. So something's not lining up there between the profile photo and the ID documents. Now, DoorDash said, tying it back to them, that they're going to commit to having more in-dash ID verifications. The selfie that you take, hey, take a selfie to confirm your identity. It's doing this exact same thing in real time while you're working. This kind of conveys, hey, we're to compare your profile photo to the uploaded documents. Now, that doesn't really combat sold accounts, shared accounts, because sure, the uploaded profile photo will match the ID document, but we need to combat shared and or sold accounts. So I want to see increased selfie checks as well, not just on DoorDash. They committed to doing 150,000 dashers a month to re-verify during dashes, but I want to see that from Uber Eats as well. Now they say, how about this? Would this make you feel better? Combating repeat offenders to keep those who've been banned from Uber before from rejoining. We've built technology that looks for signups using information, etc., that's associated with a previously deactivated account. I mean, good. If you've been deactivated, now there's improved appeals, and Uber announced that an improved appeals process as well as DoorDash. But if you've been banned, especially because they give you usually multiple warnings before you get banned, you did something. We have things like this, the real-time ID check, which is what I want to see from these platforms. Because sharing accounts is not permitted. You can't share your accounts. You can't sell your driver, worker account on any of these platforms. You're an independent contractor. Now, if you really comb through the terms of service, I'm not an attorney, I can't give you legal advice, but some of these agreements say you can subcontract out the work, which means you would have, let's say, an LLC and you literally subcontract out the work to someone else. I'm not going to get into that. And I believe the agreements also state you have to submit that info to the platform. You might even need to get it approved of who you're subcontracting. Don't even worry about that. If you would ever want to do that, and frankly, I wouldn't even see how that would make you money because you would probably have to pay the subcontractor. Then you could consult a labor attorney there. So let's talk about these real-time ID checks though. If photos don't match or fraud is detected, the account is temporarily blocked from going online. So increasing, like I said, the prevalence of these selfie checks, it's the same thing as DoorDash. If you don't pass that selfie ID check, temporarily you won't be able to go online. Now, the way it's worked in the past is if you skirt the ID check, you say, well, I'm just going to ignore it. And you like close the app or you go offline or something. And you do that too much, just trying to skirt this because you know you can't do the ID check because you're using a sold or shared account. Like, it's asking for the selfie. I'm not Sarah. That's my girlfriend. Or I'm using her account. You can't take the real-time selfie. So if you close out the app and you do that too much, it might be considered fraud. Just I'm letting you know there. It's not just sold accounts, but it may be shared accounts as well. Hope you're getting value here, folks. Again, this is from our free Side Hustle newsletter. It goes out to you at least every month with the latest Side Hustle news. You can read this in 5 minutes or less. You also get some exclusive offers from our channel partners. And again, that is for free at yourdrivermike.com/newsletter. Continuing, Uber announces, listen to this, an earnings supplement for commercial drivers using their TCP permits and commercial auto insurance. So what this pertains to are certain drivers in certain marketplaces, specifically, we won't spend too much time on this because of this, specifically in California, to my understanding here. So if you're in California, if you're driving on these platforms, in this case, Uber, let us know if this is exclusively for California. New earnings supplement for commercial drivers. Earn more on economy trips like Uber X, XL, and Uber Comforts. Now going back to the mobility vertical. But look, even because I'm obviously here in Pittsburgh, chances are like most people aren't in California watching this. So let's just see though. Let's just see what the pay is. And we'll talk briefly about a commercial insurance policy and what this entails. So this says right here, Uber is introducing a new supplement for every mile you drive with a passenger in the car, that's active time with an assignment, on economy trips like Uber X, Uber XL, Comfort, and more for commercial drivers. Effective just a month ago, December 3rd, the new supplement for San Diego, 48 cents. Effective December 11th, Los Angeles is $1 extra per trip. I'm sorry, that's every mile. Excuse me. A supplement for every mile you drive, you get an extra $1 in Los Angeles. That is huge. But again, I'll speak to commercial insurance here in a second, so stay with me. Now again, et cetera, and I'll leave these assets, websites for you in the show notes here, because I don't want to go over everything. I know this is limited to certain marketplaces. So as you can read here, commercial drivers include those taking trips with their TCP permit. I forget the exact abbreviation, transportation commercial permit, I think that might be, and commercial auto insurance, et cetera, et cetera. So typically, talking about commercial insurance, I am not, again, an attorney. I can't give you legal or tax advice because the verbiage may change or differ based on state. But typically, what I see is a gig rideshare endorsement. It's either an endorsement on your current personal policy, it is a hybrid coverage, it is called gap coverage, it may be one of those. And even it might be called commercial. So you'll need to talk to your broker or your insurance provider and simply say, I need coverage for driving for gig platforms. I mean, they just need to know that you're using your personal vehicle for business. I'm driving for Uber, DoorDash, Grubhub. They don't typically need an entire list of the platforms you're driving on. They just want to know, oh, okay, you're using the personal vehicle for business. So now we need to add X. Again, in some marketplaces, they may tell you it needs to be a full commercial policy that covers that car for business use. Talk to your broker if it is a personal policy with the gap coverage or the gig endorsement, or if it's going to change classification to a commercial policy. Then I would ask them, I'm only using this vehicle for business part-time. Please make sure I'm also covered for my personal driving, and let them tell you what you need to do. Again, I cannot give you legal advice coming from one marketplace on the laws and regulations in your state. Typically, a full commercial policy is going to be more expensive if we're talking full commercial coverage versus an endorsement. But again, that's a conversation for your broker there. But getting extra pay per mile, my question there would be, what does it really mean? Like, what's the net gain? And what I say is, hey, if you're paying a full commercial policy, and I'm not sure about this TCP permit, but if there's additional costs, you got to run the numbers of, okay, is a commercial policy optional? Is it something I can get, but I don't have to get? If I get it, what is the monthly cost, business expense? Okay. But what is it going to cost me in the long run there? Next, let's go back to our newsletter here, folks. Please drop a like on this video if you appreciate me bring this quick info to you so I can get some updates to you quickly without going over everything here in longer detail so I can save you some time. Uber expands Advantage mode. This is wider reaching here, so pay attention to this. To 3 additional marketplaces starting the week of February 17th. So at the time of filming, that is 1 to about 3 weeks away. And it says learn more about Advantage mode for mobility here. So let's talk about what is this Advantage mode and is it worth it, as well as the new marketplaces that are going to have this new Advantage mode. So here's Advantage mode. Advantage mode versus standard mode. Over the past few months, we piloted a new program called Advantage mode. And again, this is on Uber, which rewards drivers for providing reliable service to riders. Okay. In most pilot marketplaces, the majority of drivers who achieved Advantage mode earned 20% more per hour than drivers in standard mode. And here's, if we can just summarize kind of the theme of mid 2024, I guess into 2025, it's been AR or acceptance rating based rewards programs. So if you accept more, you get this. You get access to higher paying offers. You get an incremental bonus, basically, is what Advantage mode is. By accepting more trips, canceling fewer, and benefiting from Advantage mode perks. So here's the current marketplaces with Advantage mode. So this is mobility again, but with Uber, I'm very curious. Where is the tie-in going to be, if any? Maybe they'll just keep it to mobility, but will they eventually tie this in to Uber Eats? Possibly, because look, initially there's Austin, Charlotte, Columbus, Kansas City, Miami, Nashville, Phoenix, Sarasota, and Tampa. But in just 3 weeks, we have another Texas marketplace, El Paso, Texas. Here in Pennsylvania, we have Harrisburg and Reno, Nevada. So look at what Advantage mode is. Benefits of Advantage mode. When you're in Advantage mode, you'll get, there's one of the keywords that we've seen in the past year, exclusive perks to the ride requests. You'll get more of those exclusive ride requests and earn 5% more on UberX and other, non-premium rides. So basically, with Advantage mode, here are the metrics. Let me know in the live chat or the comment section. What do you feel about Advantage mode? What this is asking you to do is kind of like Dasher rewards. Even before that, do you remember accept more, earn more? 2022, accept more, earn more. So it's kind of the same thing. As an AR-based Dasher rewards, you accept at least 25%. That's the lowest tier that we've seen on an AR-based rewards program, because Dasher rewards is 50 or 70% for their respective tiers. Even preferred deliveries on Uber Eats, I believe that is 30%. They were going to increase it to 50, but they're keeping it for now at 30%. So Advantage mode, if you're a mobility driver, if you can maintain 25% with a 92% completion rate, basically, it's an 8% cancellation rate. You know, whatever way you want to think about it, 92% completion, 8% cancellation. Star rating a little higher, 4.85. So if you're a fine, good driver, you should be fine there. But deactivation thresholds are like what? I know it's 4.2 on DoorDash. I'm trying to remember if it's 4.2 maybe on Uber, but it is higher than deactivation thresholds, 4.85. And then driving insights score, I believe that's their safety score for just navigating your vehicle. You can help me out there, of a 75 or higher. So that's Advantage mode. It's a tiered based kind of a step change of, and I'll show you one more kind of example here of earning more. So look at this. Here's Advantage mode versus standard mode. So with Advantage mode, you get 5% more on UberX on non-standard runs. You get more of those offers that are sent directly to you, called exclusive, and you'll see Trip Radar. But on standard, you're not eligible for 5% more. You get fewer exclusive ride requests. I think that's going to hurt a bit, getting fewer exclusive requests. And you have more requests through Trip Radar right here than Advantage mode. I don't love that. You know, I know we're talking about mobility, but imagine on either Uber or Uber Eats, you want those exclusive requests. Why? It's anecdotal. Please, in the premise of the channel, we're a team here, so please share with me if you feel the same way here. But I've seen Trip Radar just not quite pay as well as exclusive offers. Number two, Trip Radar are sent to multiple drivers and couriers at the same time. So if I do see a better offer on Trip Radar, I have to be kind of quick, or someone else clicks on it. It is going to go through a matchmaking process to determine that that person is the best match. But most times I'm matched with Trip Radar, the ones I do go for. You know, several things go into it, how many drivers clicked on it in that matchmaking process. But to send you more Trip Radar in standard mode, I don't like it. I don't love that. So Advantage mode is pushing 25% AR. You get a 5% boost. But then my question would be, is it a 5% boost on Advantage, or is it a 5% cut on standard? Are we really adding 5% to the status quo, or does it seem like that because we're actually taking away 5% from standard? I don't know. I mean, that's kind of like the Black Friday thing, right? If you know about what's going on with Black Friday prices, it's like you go on price trackers and it says, hey, this is $200. Black Friday deal, it's like $100, but they're just adjusting the price and there's not actually much of a sale there. So that's my thoughts on Advantage mode. But let's continue here. So our next update, DoorDash introduces gold zones. Let me know if you're a DoorDash Dasher. And I think most importantly, are you a new DoorDash Dasher, or are you a more experienced DoorDash Dasher? I guess we'll say, have you done at least 100 deliveries? Let me know in the live chat or down below in the comments. Say, Yes, I'm a new Dasher, and maybe put with both. Let me know how many deliveries you've done and what marketplace you're in. Why does that matter? It doesn't matter, right? Mike, I knew it doesn't really mean anything. Now it means something. On gold zones, DoorDash introduces gold reserved zones, access reserved. New Dashers will be unable to go online unless they complete the required amount of deliveries to unlock the zone, or if the zone's reserved status is removed. So you know how on Uber Eats, you can basically go online anytime. There's no sub marketplaces. There's no areas that are broken down further. There is on DoorDash. Now, as you know, there are availability restrictions of this right here. You want that dash now to go online with DoorDash, right? Yep, because there's a red zone like this. If you have a red zone and has the little dash now you can see on the screenshot there, you can go online. Red color. Zone is currently busy, and Dash Now button is available to all Dashers to get started dashing immediately. Wonderful. I can start making money. Why does this matter? Because you have limited free time. If you have limited free time, let me know in the live chat or the comments, how many hours do you put towards your side hustle? Is it 5, 10, 15? Let me know. But imagine in your limited free time, it's a gray zone. Zone is currently not available, and Dash Now is not available. In order to dash in this zone, you will need to schedule a dash at a later time. You can see how it says schedule. Basically, what I'd advise you to do if you're in a sub marketplace, because you can see here the San Francisco or whatever for your marketplace is broken down into smaller zones. If it's gray, I wouldn't say to always schedule. Obviously, hey, if you're free later and it says there's a time later that works for you, go for it. But if you want to dash right now, you can't schedule later. Now, check it, because sometimes scheduling later literally means like 30 minutes from now. And you're like, oh, it's 6 p.m. now, but they have a time open at 6:30 until 8:30, then grab it. And then just multi-app, drive on different apps until 6:30. Also, if you didn't know, when it does say Dash Now, when it's scheduled, because Dash Now, you can just go online. When it's scheduled, you can go online 15 minutes before your shift. So if it's 6 p.m., you're scheduled for 6:30, you don't have to sit there and be like, oh, well, I guess I got to wait till 6:30. You can generally go online 15 minutes before the scheduled shift. Again, that may change. It may have changed for some marketplaces, so you'll have to experiment with your scheduled shift. But my point is, if you're free now, you can't go online now. Now, what about this? The new gold zones. Access reserved needs to be unlocked. So remember when you told me, hopefully you did. If not, you can still do it now. That's fine. Also go up there and drop a like on this video. I know it's just real quick. Just super, boom, done. So you're done already. Just go ahead. Like the video if you can. This pertains to new Dashers. Have you just started? Are you looking to just start? This is going to affect you. And this is not in a lot of marketplaces yet. So pay attention. This might come to your marketplace. Gold color, due to too many Dashers on the road, this zone is currently unavailable for Dashers who have completed less than a certain number of deliveries. To access this zone, a Dasher must either wait for it to be unlocked by completing the specified number of deliveries, see more below on how to unlock a reserve zone, or schedule a dash at a later time. And they still have that typo in there. Great. So it will say something like this. And actually, I do have a graphic for you. It's going to cover us right now, but that's fine. It's going to say something like this. Your sub marketplace will say, hey, sorry, new Dasher, this zone is currently reserved for Dashers who have completed at least X amount of deliveries. This Dasher showed 300 deliveries, and they completed 111 already, but they still can't go online until there's 300. Now, with gold zones, here's another example of that. See how for this dasher, all of their at least visible sub marketplaces were reserved. So they can't go online unless A, gold reserved zone is removed, which means, okay, it's busy enough. We need everyone online as possible. Even the new dashers go online. So they'll remove the reserved tag. Or you hit the number of deliveries. This is 300. Now their example in their screenshot right here, it's super fuzzy, says 20. So I want you to let me know if you've seen reserve zones, what's the threshold been? And by the way, this is a great time to mention that I'm launching an earnings opportunity for you in the next 30 days or so. It's going to be a driver team contributor opportunity where you can submit your first look screenshots or screen recordings of new programs like this. I'm not a new dasher. I'm not going to see reserve zones, or maybe new dashers here in Pittsburgh. Maybe we don't have reserve zones, or maybe their profile doesn't have reserve zones, whatever it is. So that will allow you to be a contributor here, earn some money, and you'll have the opportunity to submit and apply for post-shift interviews. So, hey, maybe I drove on a new platform that's not here in Pittsburgh, like let's say Zifty Catering that's not here in Pittsburgh. I drove on a new feature that we don't have here. So that'll be another earnings opportunity for you. That's driver team contributors. That's coming in the next 30, 45 days. Make sure to subscribe and join that newsletter so you can be in the know there. So gold zones, I don't know how many marketplaces have gold zones. It's going to be a beta test. It's just pertaining to new dashers, but it helps saturation because before that marketplace reaches saturation, it will, in essence, lock out the newer dashers. So here's full saturation. Other dashers can still go online until it reaches full saturation. Then it becomes a gray zone. Hope that makes sense. Let me know what you think about that. Let's continue. That was the DoorDash update. And again, folks, this is on my free newsletter, yourdrivermike.com/newsletter. I'd love to have you over there. Poplin is a laundry washing side hustle. I know, don't wait. It's a laundry washing side hustle. It's not that gross. I've done a Poplin assignment. Get some gloves. It's in a trash bag. You empty the trash bag into the washer. You don't even have to sort it. It's pre-sorted by the customer. There's a competitor called Hamper as well. I've done videos on both. You can watch those videos after this if you'd like. You dump it in, you wash it. Now it's nice and clean. Now you can touch it. You can still wear gloves if you want. That's Poplin, being a laundry pro. And they added new decline features and availability settings. I just want to show you this because it is new. Obviously, I don't think everyone is going to want to do Poplin, but I've done it. And I actually kind of like it. It's a good at-home side hustle, but this is something where you're going to have to watch operational costs. Logistically, I think it's pretty easy. I go to the home, wherever, there's a garbage bag sitting on the porch. Sweet. Pick it up, put it in my car, go home, dump it in the washer, wash it, fold it. We're good to go. It's a filler app, okay? I don't want you to necessarily drive out there because you're obviously going to have to drive there, back home to wash it, and then back again to drop it off. But as a filler app, which means I'm using it to fill in my other gig work shifts, or imagine it's like close to your workplace. It's close to wherever the kids function, whatever. It's close to the place where you're going anyway, the shopping mall. Oh, there's a Poplin there. Grab it. There's no additional miles really. And then you're going to drive back home anyway, and then do your gig work or whatever. Try to work near that area and then drop it off the next day. You get a nice 24-hour window, which I like as well. So you can pick it up by 8 p.m. and then you deliver it the next day by 8 p.m. So that also provides you with a good amount of flexibility. If you want something that will pay you and you don't have to do it like right now, I can do it on my leisure time. Of course, look at the pay. There is bonus pay. There are customer tips here. Obviously, I want it to make sense for you. So watch that review I did on Poplin. So let's look at what they added here. Just 11 days ago, at the time of filming this, the new decline order feature lets you decline an order while keeping customers informed about your next available date. You can set your availability now as well on Poplin. This helps maintain professional communication and gives customers a clear idea of when they can place their next order with you, if they choose you as their preferred Poplin washer. You can see here, include a decline reason. Now, look, let me show you their availability as well, because I'm going to answer maybe one of your questions. Here's their availability feature right here. So now on Poplin, you can set your availability to say, hey, here's when I can do your laundry. If you prefer me, here's my availability. Preferred daily schedule, work radius, which is nice. Think about if you did a gig app like Uber Eats, right? Uber Eats, or even, Uber, Lyft, Grubhub, kind of Walmart, Spark, kind of, but they don't have a set radius per se. Like obviously there's what's called a restaurant radius where each restaurant on DoorDash has a radius that they can deliver in. Like that's something on the merchant end. But here, this is a work radius. So imagine you're doing DoorDash and you say, don't send me anything that's further than 5 miles away. That'd be pretty sweet. I mean, DoorDash is looking at new features in 2025. That'd be kind of sweet. 5 miles from my current location, or like a total mileage. Like don't send me offers that are 10 miles or longer, right? But going back to Poplin here, I can see a work radius of exactly what I want. And then I can go on, you can see here vacation mode and stuff like that. And lastly, let me show you the last update here. If you're getting value, please drop a like on this video. My name is Mike. All I do is help you make money in different side hustles. I've been doing gig work since 2015. Be here for October, 10 years, working on different side hustles and new things to come. You might be thinking like, well, okay, that's cool, but what else? There's new stuff coming in 2025. I told you earnings opportunities, as well as getting into real estate and income properties in time. So don't miss that. Lastly, DoorDash announces and Uber their Q4 2024 year results. And you can see Uber's Q4 and 2024 results in the next month as well. And I always report on what they say for you. You don't want to, I mean, you can if you want. If your leisurely weekend activity is listening to a 45-minute company quarterly call, go for it. I'll be there with you. We can share the riveting details. But basically, I'll summarize it for you in a video. So again, make sure to subscribe here. What do I expect Uber and DoorDash to say about 2024? This is what we're going to finish on. 2024 from both companies saw more partnerships. I expect them to talk about, hey, we added more partners than ever. This is on the delivery vertical. So Uber Eats versus DoorDash. We both added more partners than ever. We've expanded deeper and faster into grocery. They call these new verticals: grocery, retail, convenience, and alcohol. That's new verticals. We've expanded faster in new verticals. DoorDash specifically is most likely going to talk about, hey, we've added these new changes, improvements, different tasks, different ways to incentivize dashers. Uber, honestly, in their quarterly call here coming up in a couple of weeks, they tend to focus on mobility. And I've listened to these quarterly calls for as long as I can remember, maybe 5+ years. And Uber seems to really, really hinge on mobility, rideshare. And I get it. That was their initial entrant in the marketplace. I feel like that's what investors really want to hear more of. And they're trying to squash Lyft in the mobility space, albeit Lyft had some recent ridership records here, but I still think they're struggling. So I think Uber really wants to continue that gain in market share in mobility. but I would love to see them also touch on Uber Eats. I haven't seen it, but I'm hopeful that we'll see something there. On the macro again, talking about drivers, both companies are going to say, hey, both of them respectively have 7 million plus earners globally, both of them. They're both going to say, hey, drivers and couriers, workers, Uber calls it earners. DoorDash just simply, it's just dashers on DoorDash. They've earned more than ever. They've earned X amount of dollars per quarter. It's going to be like, I don't know, X billion. I forget what it is they average in cumulative earnings per quarter. Both companies, more so Uber, says, hey, our earners earned an aggregate $25 plus per utilized hour. That's the verbiage they use, per utilized hour. DoorDash says, hey, our dashers, I typically haven't heard this in the past couple of quarters from DoorDash, but in the past they've said, yes, it's been the same number. It's been $25 per active hour. I believe that's the verbiage that DoorDash used. Additionally, though, just my thoughts, what I would like to see from them, and I've talked about this in my 2025 rankings guide video. That's a free resource for you. You driveformike.com/bundle to get that free rankings guide. But DoorDash has been promising some good things. Now let's turn the page into 2025. New Dasher earnings types, whether that be just like literally different ways to earn or different offer types, like accomplishing a task that we've never really done before, or it's something that's scaling. Like literally it's called Dasher tasks. We saw menu photos. There's package returns. We haven't seen much of that. We've seen, what else? Verifying store hours. And we've also seen recently shelf photos. These are not add-ons. Some of them are add-ons, but what we're seeing in 2025 is hopefully more standalone offers that are not delivery on DoorDash. So that would give you more earnings opportunities to do something completely different than just food delivery. It just gives you more chances to earn. We have Earn by Time now. We have peak pay on Earn by Time. We've had that for years. And I've talked about some improvements I'd like to see from DoorDash and Uber Eats. You can watch those separate videos as well. Lastly, on Uber and Uber Eats, and I said this in that video, I just need to see more innovation. Just more acceleration, innovation, and organic changes. I've seen a mirroring of Uber Eats to DoorDash, copying preferred deliveries, copying Dasher Rewards. Dasher Rewards was first. So there's a lot of things to consider. So let me show you one more time here, these improvements. And I want to take your questions here in a moment. Which one of these stood out most for you? Let me know. I want to take your questions here in just a second. So for me, I think the gig economy in 2025 is going to have even more gig platforms and options. Here's what I'm excited about. Let me finish with this and then I'll take your questions. I'm excited about catering. I'm excited about medical courier. I'm excited about what DoorDash is going to do. Spoiler alert, I ranked them the number one side hustle in 2024 and 2023. I think they're doing a lot right, a lot of different options there for you. But I'm excited about the new entrants. I think there's some high-paying specialty gigs like Bungie, like Dolly, like maybe Bellhop. Those are all moving and or LTL or like heavier, like less than truckload platforms. So some of that, like Dolly, like Freight, like Dispatch, it's harder work arguably because it's sometimes maybe palletized at the largest, but even it's heavier, it's larger items. But Bungie quotes like $45 an hour. So all of this, I'm going to be tracking for you in 2025. This is a great place to be. Again, I would love to have you part of the team here. There's a lot of changes coming. That's the wrong graphic. There we go. It truly is live in 2025. My name is Mike. We'll love to have you part of the team here, and I'll see you soon.